After my last job at the Lunchy factory didn't end so well, I fell into a long depression only to be revitalized by a job opening found in my local newspaper. So after a short online interview with a mysterious figure, I found myself in a small dark room, illuminated by a single light with a static man on a screen giving me directions to my new job. He described it as cooking new creatures. I stared in disbelief but continued listening, only to be told the equipment was simple to operate and to not make a mess. My first order was to create a microworm, a Scutigera, and an aphid. I tried submitting a lone worm packet to the container only to learn that the microwave was needed to create life from the pack's contents. Additionally, I learned that submitting one creature at a time was not the intended solution. My boss informed me that I had received one reprimand, and not knowing what lies after the third strike, I made sure to be careful from here on. And for those wondering what happens when you receive your third strike, I went ahead and did a test run. Just kidding, it only makes you restart. It was at this time I noticed small papers around the workspace with different recipes for creatures on them, certain to come in handy. Searching for the right note, I was met by the scariest sound I had ever heard in my life. Moving on, I eventually figured out that by combining two microworms I could create a Scutigera. From there, I mixed a microworm and a Scutigera and received the final creature for this order, an aphid. With all creatures together, I shipped my first order, and found out that when receiving a new order, I will need to crush unwanted creatures with my bare hands. The next order required two new entrants, a caterpillar and two snails. Blindly mixing two creatures together, I received waste, and decided it was best to instead read the recipes scattered through the workshop. To make a caterpillar, you need two microworms and an aphid. Makes enough sense to me, as a caterpillar is very wormy like a worm, and aphids have legs which to give the caterpillar. To the vending machine I went and put the components into the blender. Next, the snail. I don't understand how its three components add up to a snail, but a microwave that could create life from slop was enough to suspend my disbelief. Completing the delivery, more creatures have entered my container. I squish them despite the fear they feel, as I have to continue with my job. Next order, 2 snails and 3 frogs. After getting the 2 snails from the vending machine, I go and find the recipe for the frog, and without wasting time I get to work. I place the newly created frog packet into the microwave and grab 2 more from the vending machine. I ship out my order and squish the unwanteds in the container. This next order has quite the diverse roster: a beetle, a butterfly, and a bat, the first mammal of this whole ordeal. At this point, I believe you understand the basic process of the game. Who knew that creating life could be so simple? And after gazing upon my creations, I felt sad in a way, as I knew I would have to give them away just as soon as I created them. Truly, I understand the joys of childbirth, and can relate to any and all mothers. For the next order, there were 2 new entrants once again, scorpions and crabs. But before making them, I got to work and placed what I already had into the container. But I forgot to remove the unwanted creatures first and accidentally crushed the bat I had placed under the might of my mighty thumb. So I quickly executed those who remained so that they wouldn't have to be alone, and so that I wouldn't be reprimanded. This order goes by quicker than the last as I dash back and forth through the small room creating life and defying God for minimum wage. And just as soon as I had made these beautiful creatures, I shipped them off to who knows where. And now for the final order, which required my most greatest creatures, which I could use the vending machine for, and 2 tarantulas. I dumped all my previously acquired creatures onto the ground and into the microwave before creating my final masterpiece. And what was needed to create this tarantula? 1 crab for the pincers, 1 scorpion for the venom, and a bat for those weird micro hairs that tarantulas have, and they really gross me out. I really don't like tarantulas. And now that everyone was in place, I could ship out the final order and finally leave this nightmare. Turning back only once to cement the horrors of what I had done into my brain, I exit to the outside world, but I didn't leave the same man I entered. After the day's work was done, I decided not to return to that strange job. It was hard to look at creatures passing by on the street, for now I saw them as food packets, waiting to be heated up in the microwave. Creature packets. Hey, post-video thing here. If you liked this video, please be kind and subscribe. It would mean the world to me and more to see that people are liking what I'm making. Now have a good day. Bye-bye.